Hey guys, welcome to the first official video of GeekRest.com, where we're going to be doing a little weekly recap of the week's latest events, in current geek culture, whatever that means to whoever's listening. And when I say we will be discussing, I'm joined today by Aaron Haaland, the proprietor of Orlando's very own A Comic Shop.
With a propensity for running off at the mouth.
He has a tendency to run.
Yes.
Run.
And if you didn't know, this is Adam from GeekRest.
Yes, I am Adam from the proprietor of GeekRest.com.
Right, not Matchbox 20.
I'm much better behind the scenes. Oh, dude, yeah. Matchbox 20, yeah. Much better behind the scenes, but you're going to be seeing my face in the future. If this pans out, I hope it does. And so this is a dry run. What we got going here?
This is like
dry
humping. We're gonna dry hump through this. Next week we already have some plans to really do what the show is going to be, the format and everything. But
absolutely,
yeah, we just wanted to start it. We had said we were going to talk about this, but we had a little tragedy here, a big tragedy here in the area where my co-host on my comic show, he died in a car accident. He was on his bike, and one thing we learned about that is just get started. Don't be like, oh, well, we're not prepared yet. We don't have this yet. We don't have what. Let's just get started. We're going to do this one. It's going to suck.
Yep.
And the next one's going to be better, and the one after that's going to be better than that.
Yeah. And you're going to be involved from day one.
Engagement.
Which is the...
in fact, we'll do it so bad that you'll want to engage us and give us advice.
If you don't tune in now,
we should teach a marketing class. They're like, how do you get engagement? Well, just suck really bad.
Just suck really bad and put it on the internet. You'll hear some opinions.
All right, so we're going to talk about comic books mainly this week because, I don't know. We've talked a lot about the Avengers trailer that was, what was it, like 90 seconds long?
The 90 seconds, yeah.
Hulk was cool.
Hulk was cool.
Cool. I mean, like
that was it. That was the big thing.
I thought it was a great trailer. Every single person that saw it cheered and wanted more. Yeah. And some people were like, is there going to be another trailer later in the Super Bowl? I'm like, no, that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
It was great, but
it was short.
Yes.
Are you excited for the Avengers?
But remember the but remember the Captain America trailer was like really, really short during the last Super Bowl. It was just like, boom, done.
Yeah.
But anyway.
They got months to milk
teasers.
It. And they will.
Speaking of Avengers, we have Avengers versus the X-Men coming from Marvel, which is their huge book and arguably their first answer to the 52.
Yes.
That DC did.
Stepping up to the plate. I'm curious. I'm very curious about the Avengers versus X-Men because I'm curious what their game plan is. What is where are they going to be 1 year from now because of this event?
Yeah. In
terms of marketing and business structure, because clearly Marvel took a hit with Fear itself as far as new.
Their marketing and their business structure.
Dude, don't.
All right. For me, I mean, speaking of game plan and speaking of the Super Bowl, I'll segue properly into this looks really weird from their marketing. It's just really kind of dumbed down. It's like A versus X, it's like choose your team. What football team do you like better?
It's like a battle royale.
What players do you have more affinity with? Yeah. If you think back to all the other Marvel big crossovers, they've all been some type of societal kind of litmus test type of thing, like civil liberties versus security for Civil War, or who do you trust? What do you fear? Yeah. On and on and on. House of M, be careful what you wish for. Right. You know what I mean? And this is just choose your team. They're gonna fight, y'all. This is what you really wanted, right?
I mean, that's their slogan is choose your team, choose your side, and the whole marketing campaign is basically comic stores across the nation are going to be choosing whether they're Avengers or whether they're X-Men, right. And then they're going to be sent, I guess, I mean, you probably know about this more than I do, but you're going to be sent promo
You haven't
material.
said anything inaccurate yet? No.
I'm on it.
All right.
But
I just got an email today from Marvel about it that I haven't read yet.
Do you choose your side?
Yeah, X-Men.
You're going to be X-Men.
I love the Avengers and all, but in this book, I just said that, it's not political at all in its marketing. And perhaps I think that they saw people were kind of bummed out with all this constant political barrage. Marvel has been better than DC at attracting new readers and seemingly being more accessible.
Right.
Arguably more accessible because they're more accessible because they tap into that cultural zeitgeist of where society's at.
Yeah.
Not that their characters don't have the same amount of backstory per se, you know, there might, whatever, but it's tapping into the zeitgeist of, Fear itself was like, you guys are really afraid that the other shoe's going to drop. All right, Iran's going to push Israel into the sea, and what else do you got? You're afraid of everything. But it was just this vague thing, and who really rallies behind like, I'm afraid of stuff, But with civil liberties versus security, it's like patriotic is necessary, and other people is like, I want my civil liberties. I'm part of the ACLU. Like people really did champion both sides.
Schism in House of M too. I mean,
yeah.
Also,
but no one really changed. Like, I'm afraid of stuff, random things. I'm afraid of the future. Like even the punk rock slogan where they thought there was no future, they were just like, "There's no future. Woo! I'm gonna put intravenous drugs in my arms and share the needles. No future." You could rally behind that, but I'm afraid of random stuff. Fear itself. But anyway,
so they got to do better.
So they're marketing this, in my opinion, just as this big cathartic brawl that's going to kind of cleanse the palate of all Marvel political stuff, going all the way back to Stan Lee saying, his whole metaphor for Professor X being Martin Luther King and Magneto being Malcolm X. It's going to be no politics, none of the time. Yeah. Make mine Marvel. But I think they're faking us out. I think they are.
There's got to be something more to this.
Because the Marvel fans say they will, that they want to see these random fight scenes. They do want the underpinnings of,
it's not going to carry us... 12 issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 12. I mean, that's huge. All right. I mean, this is bi-weekly. It's going to be spread out over the course of 6 months.
Yeah, with 3 different artists, one on each different act, like 3 books.
And these are great writers.
Yeah, and it'll come out on time because of or at least it looks like it, because of the different artists all working on it now. Yeah. And the first artist is ahead, and then the second and third artists are already working on their arcs now. Yeah. So it should come out on time, but 12 issues is a lot to just have people punching each other in the face.
It's Bendis.
Want to look back at your notes? It's Bendis, Jason Aaron, Matt Fraction, Ed Brubaker, and Jonathan Hickman. Yeah. No? Oh, okay.
Well, that's done.
The Architects.
Yeah. But, I mean, with those 5 guys,
burgers and fries.
With those burgers and fries, you want some shake.
Those guys are all known for their multi-layered, deep, heavy stories that, even Jason Aaron with all his crazy zaniness, like his radioactive nunchucks that give you cancer. Enter the cancer dragon. But he still has very layered, nuanced, very, political and emotionally packed stories. So here's my theory. It's not like I called Jason Aaron and asked him, but here's my theory. Okay, so the Phoenix is coming, and it's kind of like Galactus. It's kind of this huge annihilation wave threat. Right. And the Avengers are like, they're like the federal government. They're like here to save us, and they need to stop this from coming to Earth. Right. And the X-Men are like, they're like the fanatic, religious fanatics. It's like a compound. They're like a cult. The compound is Utopia. And they're like, no, this is our savior. This is the second coming. Phoenix is going to come back, go into our virgin baby birth of Hope. Yeah. And then Hope's going to save us all. Cyclops is going to take the stick out of his butt. And Beast isn't going to feel like all his friends let him down all the time. And the mutants are going to actually be happy. And the X-Men are probably going to come, or the Avengers are going to come swinging down Utopia like the federal government, banging down the door and stealing Hope like Ileon Gonzalez, back in the day.
Back in the boat, boy.
Yeah, so that's what I think. And I think it's going to be like really the affinity of what team do you follow? Do you follow the Avengers that they have to stop all these world-threatening things from coming to Earth and therefore stop the Phoenix, and you back that because you back their worldview, or do you back the X-Men's worldview as they are just trying to survive, and if the Phoenix Force comes back and comes into Hope, then the mutants will not be killed off as a species. And that's reasonably heavy.
And with these writers, they're going to do a whole bunch of stuff because, Cyclops has pretty much been worn thin by all the events. He's shouldered every burden that all mutants have pretty much, are bearing.
He has to have some ulcers and probably hemorrhoids.
He's not sleeping well.
Right.
But I like how this is all, I keep exploring, the team dynamics, the way mutants are going to rally around this, the Phoenix Force Rising. I always see the X-Men as... they're a superhero team, but they're family. They're all the
they're like a species,
but the X-Men team.
They're a completely inbred family.
There's a little mingling, yes, but I mean they're more homely. There's more connection. Where the Avengers team
and the DC team,
they're more like it's their job.
Yeah. And the DC book that was the family was Teen Titans, and when they had the crossover, it was X-Men and Teen Titans crossing over. Yeah. So the two family dynamic teams.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, like the Avengers always strike me as like a job. They're government agents.
They have their
whereas
little
the X-Men are more.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'm.
It's nature versus nurture. You know, like nature versus nurture.
Check my notes.
And nature is you're born a mutant, and then the Avengers generally got their powers, a lot of them from accidents, different things that happen to them, and they just, it's their job, they choose that job, they choose to put on the mask, and then you're born a mutant, Yeah. It's like I'm not born black or Jewish, I might choose to listen to rap music. No, I'm just, all right. So anyway, going on, since we've been running off, we said we're going to keep this short, and we didn't.
Marvel, we know you got some layers to this.
But you better not have the Phoenix, which is rebirth and all that, relaunch your whole universe with new number ones and everything, because that would be a little bit weird. Have a lot of new number ones come out of this, because I know it's going to restructure your publishing house.
Well, they've hinted a lot that this is going to change the face of the...
It should.
I mean, it should. I don't think it's going to go all out like New 52 did.
It shouldn't.
But, I mean,
it could,
as far
though.
as raising characters from the dead that should come back.
You have Scarlet Witch, who can alter reality, and you have Phoenix, whose whole thing is death and rebirth.
Right.
They could relaunch and reboot their whole thing like DC out of this. It's less contrived than some strange Pandora woman coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But not that I don't like the New 52, but I'm saying it's less... Purple. It's less contrived than that,
Yeah, a little bit.
But they're not going to do that. Jason Aaron assured me that they're not going to relaunch.
That's a quote.
Nah.
From
I was
quote.
I was brushing the food particles out of his beard, as but. And we're already at like 12 minutes, man. Before Watchmen, the creative teams look amazing. No, none of the books are necessary. But Alan Moore himself was going to do a prequel to the Minutemen.
Yeah.
And also, my challenge is kind of like a closed room challenge. I would say the biggest hater and detractor of these books, put them in a locked room with a camera and the books on the table. They don't have to pay for them. They don't do it. Will they, leave them in there for a day? Are they going to read them or not? Because curiosity is way high, even if you're dead set against it.
Right.
My bottom line is Watchmen was work for hire, and it was a takeoff of Charlatan characters anyway. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. I love Watchmen, all the respect in the world. One of my favorite books. But again, it was work for hire, and it was a riff off of, the Blue Beetle and the Question, all that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's in a shared universe per se, kind of like that. And it was, I do but I agree with the slippery slope thing. Like prequels before Watchmen. The good creative teams, I'm curious. Prequels, yes. Sequel, I'm more queasy about that. Crossing over with the regular DC universe, I don't know, man. No, thank you. Making it part of the 52 and doing crossovers, no, thank you, sir.
If they get the creative team rights, sequels, prequels, they can work in the medium of comics. Film is a different story.
Yeah, we'll see. What else did you want to
talk about? As far as the work for hire thing you just mentioned, I just want to mention this briefly because this was announced last night. The Tony Moore lawsuit against Robert Kirkman.
We don't know all the particulars, but obviously we know what you guys know about the lawsuit. Going to cons and talking to the people and having Charlie Adlard sign at my store and everything. I know how Adlard got the job, and it was totally, whatever happened with Moore and Kirkman had already happened.
Yep.
And Kirkman needed a new artist. Joe Casey had worked with Adlard on Code Flesh, which was a good book that sold nothing and went nowhere. Yeah. And Charlie Adlard needed to make some money for his family, and Kirkman sent him an email that was just one sentence, do you want to make money?
From across the pond. And
Adlard said yes. And Adlard's been a great professional artist. He's gotten out, 90 issues basically since the first 6, and it's wonderful and great stuff. And Adlard, as the creator that's been drawing this ever since issue 7, deserves the lion's share of his creator-owned or co-creator thing of those reprints of the comics.
Absolutely.
Now, if we're talking about the actual merchandising and TV show and all that, then Adlard would probably agree himself that, that Tony Moore should get a fair sum of that for doing the actual concept and creation. But as I said, we don't really know the particulars
This isn't really a surprising event that's come up or anything like that. Thing. Like most people have known that there's like a rift between these two ever since.
And at conventions, it's a real kind of weird thing with Tony Moore and his booth and his wife and everything. They're wonderful, great people, and they're selling the zombie prints and the zombie stuff. But it's always like this.
And they're great.
You know, the fans.
They're great looking.
And you can't really blame the fans. The fans want to know, like, what happened.
Yeah.
And if I was Tony Moore, I would be damn sick of explaining what happened or my spiel to sidestep because he doesn't owe any of us an explanation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But having said that, the fans have to be curious and want to know what the hell happened, you know? So I can see there's has to be some type of bitterness or resentment or at least very big annoyance over the whole thing.
And I'm sorry, more, but you're bringing this lawsuit the weekend of the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead and 2 weeks prior to the Image Expo. So I think you do want this to get noticed, and
of course,
and, so questions follow.
Yeah, well, that's why we're talking about it. Like, you're not calling him out saying that he's a jerk for doing it.
No.
You're saying that's why it's topical because the lawsuit was announced, filed, whatever, made public at a very topical junction for Walking Dead fans. So
we're all at the water cooler, basically.
Adlard has been a professional. He's fun. He was charming, wonderful man. He signed at my store. Man. I drove him down to Miami. I asked him some questions to try to goad him into saying anything like, like, what happened with that? What happened with that? He didn't have anything ill to say about Tony Moore at all. He said he was wonderfully fine. I said, do you mind that Tony Moore's name was ahead of your name on the TV show credits? And he's like, I'm just happy my name's on TV, like, why do I care whose name's first, He's a very charming, wonderful man, and had a great time with him. Didn't seem like he cared for Rob Liefeld, but other than that, I really enjoyed my time with him. And Tony Moore, all of fandom's curious. All of fandom wants to read this stuff. I don't know if it's healthy for us. It would be probably healthier for us if it got settled out of court privately.
Yeah, it'd probably save you a lot of money too.
But I don't know. But bottom line is, it most likely will be settled or done, decided on merchandise and TV show, not the comic books themselves.
Granted, yeah.
So,
probably.
Actual hardcore comic fans have nothing to worry about. Yeah. There's nothing, the sky's not falling. And, as long as Adlard still gets his money for the stuff he drew in the comics, I'll just let what behind the scenes be behind the scenes. I love Tony Moore's art. Yeah. I love Robert Kirkman to death. And, but, I have spent a lot of time with Charlie Adlard, and if I had to choose a side, it would be Charlie Adlard, even though he's probably not named in the lawsuit. That's my sidestep. So you can say something controversial.
The Adlard promo is coming your way. Nothing. Well, touched on those two things. The last big thing I wanted to mention is MegaCon.
Oh,
Orlando. Yeah. Get ready, MegaCon's coming.
Not this weekend, but next weekend.
17th, 18th, and 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Check it out. Although you do not have a booth this year.
I am the executive producer of Nerdy Show, and Nerdy Show has a booth that I will be at because I'm stepping in and selling. Nerdy Show actually has stuff to sell. They did a comic, which my friend who died got hit by a car actually wrote. This was the first comic he wrote that's been drawn, and we had it to sell there, and I was going to sell it, and we have T-shirts and comics and whatever, and I'm going to go there and do that. Because the other guys at Nerdy Show are great guys. They know how to run film, Nerdapalooza, like a music festival. They know how to review stuff on Consequence of Sound. They're really great guys, but can they sell? I mean, come on, can they sell?
They need the...
I got the goods.
They got the steak. You got the sizzle.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll be there selling, and my face is associated with Mike Pandel from all the the store and the videos. So,
really?
Yeah, clearly. So I'm going to be selling his Dungeons and Doritos #1 comic book that's really well drawn, well written, and MegaCon should be a blast, even without Mike there.
So if you're in Artist Alley, go to Nerdy Show booth.
Yeah, I don't know the booth number. I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, he's not.
But I'll be there.
Formal.
Maybe I'll bring a megaphone and piss off everyone else.
That's why we love you.
I have 2 megaphones, so it's okay if one gets confiscated. Goading you. All right. Thanks. Next week is going to be way better and way shorter. And if nothing, engage with us by telling us what the actual length of the video you would prefer. Like what length, like not the girth, but the length of the video. Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Yeah. You should make your show more like a tuna can.
All right.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
You gonna say bye?
Goodbye.
Bye.